I have read your motion, Ms. Borsch. I have also read the response. Is there anything you'd like to add before I hear from Ms. Wilson? And I do have a couple of questions, so I'll give the floor to you first.
Sure. So to summarize, as you're aware, we're looking to clarify the Labor Day, Memorial Day, the exchanges, who, when, where, and the Christmas break and the inherent rights. The parties tried to get this resolved via mediation with a friend of the court, not successful. I sent a proposed offer that was not accepted. We filed the motion, and then belatedly, Ms. Wilson signed a signature page and sent it back. I realized in looking at that, Your Honor, that we didn't address the Christmas break in that first draft, which is important for the parties to divide. So I thought we would go forward with the motion because it had been filed because I hadn't heard from her. Mr. Wilson has missed 2 days of parenting time, and I was very surprised, as was the friend of the court worker who mediated for them, that the friend of the court didn't enforce. The order doesn't say that third parties can pick up, but I've never in all the years I've been practicing had someone deny time to the other parent because it wasn't that person. Frequently, life happens. We have nannies, we have grandparents, we have other people picking up the children, but the friend of the court refused to enforce his time because it didn't specifically say in the order that we needed a third party provision to be able to pick up. And last, Your Honor, we're asking for attorney fees and costs, and I set forward my affidavit and my time spent on this matter.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions for you, Ms. Pagorsh, and then I'll hear from Ms. Wilson.
Sure.
So, how often does your client travel out of town, whereas this is a issue, his mother being there to receive the children? How often does that happen?
I don't know the answer to that, Your Honor, but I do know that she is his childcare provider during the work week. So she cares for the children a lot when he's working. As far as the travel out of town, I don't know how often that's happening. I do know that Ms. Wilson has requested a right of first refusal, and I think that that would be problematic for this family, as it is for many families. I can tell, Your Honor, to excuse my interruption, but I can tell you that if you ask Mr. Wilson, do the boys have a good relationship with grandma? He would say yes. It's concerning that Ms. Wilson is telling the boys, ages 5, they're twins, that dad is a bad man. She doesn't like dad. She doesn't like mom, or excuse me, grandma, and she's not going to lie to the boys. They're 5, Your Honor.
Yeah, I've read all that. And you are aware, are you not, at least from my reading of Ms. Wilson's response, that she is in agreement with the inclusion of a provision relative to Labor Day and Memorial Day, but it appears the only difference between that is that you are requesting that that take place on the Friday preceding the holiday at 8 a.m. And it looks like her request is to begin that the Friday after work or somewhere around that time. So you're getting closer on the Memorial Day and Labor Day issue. Were you aware of that, Ms. Pagorsh?
Yeah, I'm aware that she was willing to agree to the preceding weekend for both the Labor Day and the Memorial Day. I also understand that when she signed the draft that was sent to her before we even filed the motion, That included the additional language with the inherent rights provision. And it also, well, what it didn't include is the specificity with the division of the Christmas break. It did have the to school or, allowing for third parties and whatnot. So candidly, I think where we're stuck, Your Honor, is the Christmas break and her request for right of first refusal.
Well, and that brings another point to mind. I was not aware from your motion that the Christmas holiday was even at issue, because it's not, at least it wasn't to the specificity of the Labor Day weekend. What are you proposing happens during the Christmas holiday?
That they equally divide the break. The way the parties have divided the Christmas Eve and day, that goes to plaintiff each year. And then Yule, which they've defined as December 21, goes to Miss Wilson each year. So I kept those in with the parties dividing the break depending on when the break is, if it starts before Yule or if it starts after or at the time.
Okay, and your proposal is what? They divide that?
Yeah, that it's equally divided, the Christmas break.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, I read your response. Thank you for that. I have a couple of questions, and then I will certainly give you the floor.
Allegations of a parent being called a bad man spark heavy tension.
With whatever you need to tell me. What is the name of the mental health provider who has opined on the discussions you have with the children about their father?
It's Laura Hockenberry.
Okay. Could you spell that last name, please?
Hockenberry.
Okay. And the only reason I'm doing that is because at some point, quite possibly, she may be subpoenaed as a witness
Sure.
in this case. But that was my first question. My second question is, there seems to be a problem, at least from your perspective, as to the paternal grandmother. And it was somewhat of a disturbing picture you painted with a couple of little kids cowering in the back seat of your car. What is your, I guess, issue with Mr. Wilson's mother?
I've had concerns with her as a caregiver for them based on the incident that we had when they were, I believe, 1.5. Before that, I didn't have an issue. What happened was my son, KW, had been having some irritation with his diaper changes. And so she had been going to change his diaper. And I said, oh my gosh, let's double check that, make sure he's good. His butt's been getting red. And then within the next week or two, I noticed that she would kind of casually mention she thought that they needed a diaper change, but she had been in the household helping. So I wasn't paying full attention to them. And I eventually did ask Mr. Wilson, I said, I think she's not changing their diapers. I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting the sense of. So it was a few weeks. And she actually, both of them said, yeah, she decided that she wasn't going to do that. And to me, that gives me concern for all the other decisions you're making. When we went through the divorce, I was told that that was not enough to object officially to it. And so they've been going to her. But when it was only AW who hid in the car, that immediately threw all my concerns back up.
How often, from your perspective, does Mr. Wilson travel, and what is the purpose of that travel?
So I would say it's probably 4 or 5 times a year so far. I believe in the past year, 3 of those times were to visit a significant other, and I think the 2 others were for work.
Okay. And how long is he usually gone for?
In total, or that he's not with his parenting time?
Yeah, I mean, if he's out of town for, let's say, work or whatever, I mean, is he gone for a week, 5 days, 3 days, 1 day? What's your understanding of that?
So far it's been between 3-ish days and a week.
And then his mother would in essence be the caregiver
Correct.
at that. Okay.
Correct.
What else you want to tell me?
The concern with the winter holiday, I have 2 concerns to that. The first one is that I know this is a difficult one because Yule's not on everybody's schedule, but it typically for our household runs just like a Christmas would. So we do kind of Yule Eve, if you will. And that it was written in the judgment of divorce. So it started on the 20th instead of the 21st. And the way that they've proposed it, it starts that morning. We do, wake up and Santa brought presents. So that doesn't work if we start at 8 a.m. in the morning.
So you would like that to start noon?
The 20th. The 20th, just it would mirror the Christmas holiday for him. So it would be the same hours as his, only it's the 20th and 21st instead of the 24th and the 25th.
Okay.
And then the second part of that is with their proposal, I'm great with splitting the winter holiday evenly. The problem is they have it contiguously, and I can't always get my work to be a straight chunk of time off. In the past, what we've done with the holidays is just said like, oh, you're only going to get 1 day and then it's back to a chunk, and then 2 days. We've just sorted it out so that it could flow evenly, which I'm okay with, but I'm leery of writing it down specifically like that and then having it not financially. That would be difficult for me if I have to take a whole bunch of days off. And I'm a florist, so that's one of our busier holidays.
Stands to reason. So your, I guess, solution to the Christmas break is to just leave it as it's set in the judgment?
Yes. I mean, if there's some way we can specify, I don't mind it saying split them evenly. Just that contiguous chunk could be a problem for me.
Anything else you want to tell me?
She paints a picture of distrust, travel issues, and children caught in it.
Let me just check and see if there's anything else. Oh, I would like to say that I did offer him makeup parenting time when we ran into that snafu with the kids. So I'm fully aware that I want him to have all of his time. It actually hasn't been requested, so I'm not sure where that stands, but.
You mean it hasn't been requested from you? It's apparently been requested from
Yes. Yeah.
the folks at the front of the court.
Yes.
Ms. Pagorish, I'll give you the last word.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wilson has texted me during the last 2 years. He's traveled 3 times personally and 2 times for work. And as far as the break for Christmas, as Ms. Wilson's indicated, Mr. Wilson's significant other lives out of state. So he would like the opportunity to have a block of time over the holiday to be able to travel with the boys to see her, or to have her come and stay with him and the boys. That's important to him. So an every other day kind of schedule would just be problematic. And that's what we're trying to avoid over the break.
Well, let me bite this off in smaller chunks for everybody. Um, I think the parties who are arguably very good parents, that they're ratcheting up this parenting time so much that there's not going to be any flexibility from anybody. It's too rigid, in my view. But that's up to the parties. Usually, I don't get a motion to clarify a judgment that was prepared by probably two of the finer attorneys in Grand Rapids. Usually they clarify it for me. I rely on them to clarify things quite a bit. But let me see if I can take this in bits and pieces. I'm going to start with the Labor Day and Memorial Day. There's no dispute that it's going to start on that Friday before. The dispute is what time. And Mr. Wilson would like 8 a.m. Ms. Wilson would like after work. And I'm going to order that it be after school. So when the children are done with school. In the same manner, because the parties have their own way of doing things as far as pickup and drop off. Same manner. I mean, the easiest way to do pickup and drop off, but the parties haven't done that here, is to just, if you begin parenting time, you usually pick up the children, and at the end of it, the other party does. But parties have somewhat kind of amended that a little bit, and I really don't have a problem with the way they amended that. Let me speak a little bit about inherent rights. MCL 722.24 charges courts with, in all actions involving the dispute of minor children's custody, the court shall declare the child's, or children in this case, inherent rights, and establish the rights and duties as to the child's custody, support, and parenting time in accordance with this act. I don't know what the credentials of this professional are, and that's somewhat why I wanted to know who it was, because if that ever comes down the line, then Ms. Gorsh can do a deeper dive on this individual. But my my policy when it comes to inherent rights of the minor children is that if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all. I mean, we were taught that all as what? Kids. And that's somewhat how I operate here. See, I want these children to think of their mother as a rock star, a greatest mother in the world. And I want them to think of their father that way too. And I can't have people saying things that are going to possibly jeopardize that, even though the professionals may weigh in with some other thought process. But I am of the opinion that people should not involve their children in that type of activity or those types of statements. It's very easy just to hold your tongue, hold both of your tongues until a time.
He reminds both parents that their words shape the children's future.
I want the parties to start.
I even checked that, Ms. Pagorsh, because I anticipated that question, and it appears anyway that the children would be in school on that
Okay.
Friday. Now, obviously, the parties are free to start it if they're not in school. One wants to start it at 8 in the morning. One wants to start it at after they get out of work. So if there's no school that day, make it noon.
Okay, thank you.
I am going to respectfully deny the request for attorney's fees. I thought long and hard about this. In essence, this, I believe, anyway, this is a problem of the party's own making, both parties. And I would hope that in the future, the parties understand that I am a firm believer in agreements between the parties and not coming to court. So I hope that that gives you some philosophy on what goes on. But if I find that people are being obstreperous, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and causing this file to escalate, I won't hesitate. Can you prep that order, Ms. Pagorsh, please?
I will, Your Honor, and may I also add that Mr. Wilson is entitled to the 2 makeup days, as Ms. Wilson has acknowledged.
To be determined by the parties. I'm not going to weigh in on when those are going to be.
I did have a question before we go.
Okay.
The question about the right of first refusal, I had written in there, I was hoping for it to be ordered just when someone is out of town, so that it wouldn't be, whenever, to be very specific, because neither one of us are out of town very often. It could clarify it.
Yeah, I read that. I understood exactly where you're coming from that. I don't like rights of first refusal. I don't, they're very difficult to enforce, and quite frankly, it throws off the balance of what you two seem to have tried to do, and that's to make an equal allocation of the parenting time. However, as I said, if I find out that these out of town travels are are going longer and are more frequent, you can knock on my door again, and I will consider it when that issue comes up. But I think I worry that these children are so young, and that everybody is kind of, you need to build in some time here for things that happen, because once your children start participating in sports, extracurricular activities, band, drama, all that kind of stuff, the parents have to be able to work around those things. And it's very difficult to do that when parents specify every hour of every day of where the children are. So I hope they take that into account. Ms. Pagorsh is going to prepare the order and send it to you, Ms.
Final orders land hard, but the judge leaves hope for peace. He closes with clarity, balance, and a warning to both sides to do better. And that wraps it up. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.